So settling in, making yourself comfortable. Might be in a supported Shavasana or any comfortable position that helps facilitate your ability to deepen into self-inquiry. So to begin our practice, we'll take a moment to set our sankalpa, our intent, our resolve for the practice. We just take a moment to dedicate and honor the practice to whatever it is you are seeking for your practice tonight. So you might just have a simple intention around feeling rested or energized, or you might set an intention around being curious and present, or I stay awake and aware through my practice, or you might have a sangha that you're working with. But you might also like to take a moment, and you might even like to place your hand onto your heart. Begin to sense, feel the deepest longing. Is this energetic heart space? What it is that your heart longs for more than anything else in the world. Maybe for peace, for grace, for ease. What is it that aligns to your core values, that really expresses the truth of your essence, your uniqueness, of the gifts you're here on the planet to share, the lessons you're here to learn, the magic you're here to weave. And perhaps as you feel into this space, it might become quite clear what it is that motivates you, what you're passionate about, what drives you. Or perhaps nothing really comes up, and it doesn't need to have a word, it doesn't need to necessarily be explained. It can just be a feeling, intuition, a discernment being really essentially intuition. And just to essentially know that because you're here on this planet in this moment, that you are needed, you are wanted, your uniqueness is part of the essence that makes the world go round. So here you might take a moment, if you have the words, or just feel into that sense of what it is, this heart's most deepest longing. And then leave that for the moment. We'll come back to it at the end of the practice. But take a moment here to really sense and ground, find what we call an inner resource in this tradition, from the Iris tradition of Yoga Nidra. So you might call in something that brings a sense of peace and ease to you in a moment's notice. And sometimes that can be the thought of the beloved. That can be your favorite place in nature. It can be the feeling of being with your favorite pet, that sense of stillness, of ease, of security. It might be a feeling that arises when you think of something that you achieved, that you worked really hard for, and at the beginning you never thought you could do it, but you did, and that sense of that accomplishment, who you were at the end of that project or program or experience or event. So whatever it is that you begin to call in, it creates a sense of comfort, of ease. And then allow this sense of comfort and ease to wash through your body, your mind, your spirit, and let go of whatever it was that you called in to create that sense of comfort. And just stay with the sense of the somatic feeling of comfort in your body. And this is our inner resource that's there for us to call on at any time during our practice tonight. And the more that we work with an inner resource, the more it's there for us in our daily lives. Know that this is here for you to call on if you need. Begin to draw your attention into the textures, the qualities, the sensations, the general hum, aliveness through the mouth. Sense the structure through the chin, the jaw, the gum and teeth. And the radius rising through the inside cheeks, outer cheeks, the lips, the softness of the lips, the tongue, the whole mouth is this field of radiance, this aliveness. And begin to track this sense of aliveness, this radiance, as it travels from the back of the throat, traveling up through the cheek sinuses, the nasal passages, the nostrils, traveling up through the soft, velvety inner ear canals, traveling outward through the ripples and the folds and the valleys. The sense of this radiance rising up through that internal space, rising up through the ears and nose and cheeks, into this sense of the aliveness and radiance of the eyes, the sense of all the muscles supporting the eyes, the sense of the structure supporting the eyes, the sense of the spaciousness behind the eyes, in front of the eyes, the whole eyes, this aliveness, this radiance. This aliveness, this radiance rises up through the forehead to the center of the skull, a sense of the space behind the eyes and the space behind the eyes towards the back of the skull, the sense of the space between the back of the skull that's resting on the support beneath it, to the forehead and the space between. A sense of the crown of the head, and the sense of the whole left side of your head and brain cavity. To the right side of your head and brain cavity. The whole head, the whole head. And feel the support from the back of the head, the back of the skull, the imprint it makes. Then the sense of the shape, the curve of the back of your neck, the front of the neck, the sides of the neck. The sense of the radiance through the top of the shoulders to the collarbones and the shoulder blades and those internal spaces between the cap of the shoulders, the armpits, and the internal spaces between. The upper arms and elbows, the lower arms and wrists, the back of the hands, the palms of the hands, this radiance, this aliveness, this general hum at the palms of the hands. And this radiance at the palm of the hands as it expands and amplifies into the fingers, into the tips of the fingers, to all the spaces between the fingers. This warmth, this aliveness, this radiance through the hands, the arms, the whole left side of the rib cage, the whole right side of the rib cage. The sense of all the spaces between. The abdomen, the lower back, the waist, belly button, the pelvis, and be present to the sense of the weight of the pelvis, the sense of the weight of the pelvis in connection to the weight of the head, the skull, the sense of this weight drawing down to the earth, yet a sense of fluidity and lightness throughout the pelvis. And the radiance, the aliveness, that general hum that travels down through the upper legs and knees into the lower legs and ankles, through the top of the feet, through the soles of the feet, from the heels, following the curve of the arch of your feet into the ball of your feet. And a sense of the big toes, smaller in size towards little toes generally. And a sense of all the toes together. A sense of all the spaces between the toes. And then all the toes together. Whole feet. The whole leg. And this radiance of the pelvis, this fluidity, this sense of the water, this pooling of fluid through the pelvis. As we travel up along the spine, vertebra by vertebra, disc by disc, through the sacrum, that triangle bone at the base of the spine, into the lower back, into the middle back, the sense of the rib cage connected to the middle and upper back, and the sense of the spaciousness inside the rib cage, the heart and lungs, The left side, stomach and spleen. The right side, liver and gallbladder. The kidneys at the back of the rib cage. The whole organ body. All working together in harmony. All is well. All will be well. And then begin to sense the fluid of the body, the sense of the blood, sending oxygenated blood to every cell of your body. The heart and lungs working together in harmony. Your own unique rhythm. All the lymph, fluids, saliva, fluid body, alive in this moment. All the fluids of the body. Even within the bones, we feel the weight of the bones of the body. Inside the bones, the marrow, the blood cells. Again, the fluid, liquid within the bones. The cellular level, the electrons, the protons, the neutrons, this dance, this fluid dance. Sensing the fluid body, the sense of the fluid. This lightness, this grace, this ease. And like mist rising, begin to sense a mist descending down through the crown of your head. This mist begins to float down through the fluid body. As the mist drifts and floats down through the fluid body, it lifts and draws out any stagnation, anything that doesn't serve you, anything that prevents you from being the full, best, brightest version of you. So as the mist descends down through the body, it dissolves away thoughts in the mind that no longer serves you, like mist evaporating into the air. Thoughts weighing heavy on your mind dissolve away. And as the mist descends down through the head to the neck and shoulders, alleviates any tension, any holding through the muscles of the neck, head, and shoulders. These muscles that go into like a freeze or respond in this way of tightening to protect us. And now letting the muscles know it's okay to soften, to release, to let go as the mist descends down through the shoulders into the chest and upper back, letting the chest soften and let go. The mist descends into the lungs, this doorway of prana, this commander of chi. This grey mist lifts from the lungs, leaving the lungs white in a pearlescent, glowing hue, descends down through the heart, lifting off the heaviness through the grey mist. Anything weighing heavy on your heart dissolves away into grey mist. The heart shines in a bright red light. Golden yellow descends down through the left side of the rib cage, dissolving away things we're finding hard to consume, digest, to ground, to center. Grey mist lifts through the stomach and spleen, and a golden yellow shines through the left side of the rib cage. As the mist descends down through the right side of the rib cage, the grey mist lifts through the liver, the gallbladder, dissolving away anything preventing us from being in a resiliency into whatever life presents. Anger, frustration, lifting with the mist as a bright green fills the right side of the rib cage. And at the back of the rib cage, the mist lifts through the kidneys, dissolving away anything that's preventing us from finding that sense of calm, ease, grace, anything that prevents us from self-care, self-nourishment, anything that's frustrating us. See it lifting with that grey mist, and the back of the rib cage shines in a bright blue. The whole rib cage, a rainbow of light, like an orchestra, all tuned in perfect harmony, all working together in harmony. All is well. All will be well. And then a mist takes on the color of an iridescent violet, like a glow in the dark purple, and descends down through your whole body, creating a circle of protective light containing your energy into reserves for you, into the stores for later when you need. Being of light, whole and perfect in this moment. Being with it all, just as it is, perfect in this moment. Being with it all, just as it is. And here in this deep, relaxed state, open to receive any insight, any guidance, any intuition, any answers to questions that you seek, finding a solution, open to receive. And all these changing feelings, thoughts, sensations reveal an unchanging awareness that's always here, whether the mind arises or not. Let yourself surrender into that place, a sense of okayness with everything just as it is, being with it all just as it is. This sense of okayness, this witnessing presence is always here. It's there as we go about our day, as we sleep at night, when we awake in the morning, when we go to bed at night. Always here, ready to call you home. And here you might like to call in that place of safety, of sanctuary, of calm and ease, that inner resource. Feeling how it affects the body, the mind, the spirit. And from that place of inner safety, inner security, sense of ease. Nothing here to produce, nothing here to protect, just being with it all just as it is. Your time. Just as it is. Being with it all just as it is. And ever so gently now, you might like to let go of the practice here. If you prefer not to be called back, letting yourself drift in this moment, concluding the practice. Or you might like to be called back, and if that's the case, begin to feel and sense the floor beneath you, the support beneath you, the sense of the earth holding you beneath you. Notice the parts of the body in connection with support, with the floor, with the earth. And then travel from those points to the periphery of your body. And you might just let the tips of the fingers touch. You might swallow a few times. You might begin to rotate through the wrists, the ankles. You might just gently roll your head from side to side. A sense of just allowing yourself to unravel, awaken into this new version of you, this new restored version of you, like a petal, like a flower, opens to the sun. And then find yourself, if you've got the space where you are, rolling to your right side. And here you might even keep your eyes closed a little longer, observing how you feel. Thank you all for joining me